Well, people, we have now finally arrived at award season. This is one of my favorite times of year because, obviously we've had some award season films and contenders that have come out earlier in the year, but this is when we really get into some back-to-back high-level quality content here that are looking to get those Oscars going. And Dumb Money is kind of one of the launching points of this year's award season. And this movie, of course, is based on a true story, which, back in 2020, these Redditors, this group of people kind of like, wanted to rise up in power, betting all their money on GameStop stock. A bunch of rich people lost a bunch of money, and then these Redditors, who were just like average Joes, got, kind of what they deserved. They rose up in power and stood up for themselves. They kept holding on, and, they were called dumb money, but really, they were the smart ones in the situation. And I remember when this was an actual thing, like I remember like reading a little bit about it back in 2020 and 2021 when this was like developing story. And then I remember seeing when it was announced that they were going to make a movie about it. And I just thought it was a stupid idea because, Hollywood, a lot of times nowadays, they just make movies about the stupidest things. But then again, we thought Barbie was a stupid idea, but that turned out to be, I think, one of, if not the best movie of 2023. Um, and Dumb Money is a similar situation. I thought it was going to be a stupid idea, but then, as we started to hear more about it and got like this star-studded cast, man, the cast is insane here. We'll talk about that in a bit. Um, I watched the trailer. It's really funny. I was like, this actually looks like a really interesting film. I'm interested to find out more about this. Um, which is weird because, I was, in the news at the time, but I wasn't like really following this story specifically. So I was really interested to hear about this story, see everything that went down, see how everything ended up. And yeah, this was just a movie I was really excited for. And also, fun fact, this was the first movie I've ever seen in a movie theater by myself. I've never gone to the theater by myself. I've always gone with my parents or friends or a girlfriend or something like that. But this time, like, it's not even because I didn't have anybody to go with. I kind of was just like, you know, for me as a guy who loves movies as much as I do and like loves going to the theater as often as I do, like I gotta start doing this at some point. And Dumb Money just seemed like the perfect opportunity. Apparently, really perfect because I got in there and literally nobody else was watching the movie. I was the only one in the theater, um, which just was wild. Again, first experience doing that, but it was kind of awesome at the same time. Like I had the whole theater to myself, and I just got to sit back, chill out, relax, eat my popcorn, do a little bit of live commentary, because that's always fun. I mean, nobody else in the theater, like, it doesn't matter if you talk. I could laugh as loud as I wanted to. It was, I could sing along with the songs. It was great. It was actually a really fun experience. And again, Dumb Money was a great film to do that for. This was just an amazing film. Like, I walked out of the theater with such a huge smile on my face because I was like, oh my god, that movie was so dope. Like, this movie is like truly inspirational. Like, there's some montages and sequences in here where, this group of people, they're just talking about, diamond hand, like holding on and like not selling the stock, just holding on, trying to, hoping, really the whole thing was a big gamble, hoping that, they'd already made a lot of money off this stuff, but do they sell or do they keep going? And they kept holding on. And it was just like really motivational. Like, there was some great references, and like they used a lot of, just like a lot of great memes and like TikToks and stuff like that. I think worked really well here. The music, man, the music was another fantastic part of this film. The soundtrack, I listened to the soundtrack on my drive back home, because I was just so hyped up from this film, and I was like, man, I love this soundtrack. And it's like such a wide array of songs. Like, literally, you open the movie with WAP, which is not something I expected, but it fits so well and just like set the tone for this movie. And then you've also got I Would Do Anything for Love by Meatloaf, another great song, but very different, very, very different from WAP. And then you also got Seven Nation Army in here, which that really gets you pumped up right there. Um, So that was great, but also just the cast. Like I said, one of the things I was most looking forward to, and one of the things that got me first interested in this film was the star-studded cast. I mean, you got Paul Dano here in the leading role, who I didn't really know before he was the Riddler in the Batman. I loved his performance in that film. Um, I've gone back and actually realized that there was a movie I watched a couple years ago for the first time that he was in, and I had no idea it was the same guy. The Girl Next Door, one of my favorite movies. Paul Dano's in that, but that was back when he was like a high schooler, like teenager, so he looks pretty different. Um, but I loved him here. He just so perfectly captured this like YouTuber energy, and it was hilarious. You also got Pete Davidson as his brother, which I mean, honestly, it did kind of feel like Pete Davidson was just playing Pete Davidson. Like the character just felt like Pete Davidson as a person. But that's not an issue because Pete Davidson is hilarious and like it worked well for this character. You've also got America Ferrera in here, Shailene Woodley. You got Seth Rogen. You know, Seth Rogen usually does more comedy stuff, and this, you know, is a comedy, but his character is more serious. You got Nick Offerman. You got Vincent D'Onofrio, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Ramos. Dane DeHaan was in here, who I didn't even realize it was Dane DeHaan until like halfway through the movie because, you know, this movie takes place in 2020, so a lot of the people in the for the majority of the film are wearing masks because, you know, it's at the height of the pandemic. And then when he took his mask down, I was like, wait a second, is that Dane DeHaan? And Dane DeHaan, like, man, I haven't seen that guy in a long time. Like, I grew up watching him in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Since then, hadn't seen him in anything. I saw him in Oppenheimer a couple weeks ago, which is really cool to see him back. He was great in that. And he was great here as well. I just love getting to see each of these characters, like their individual stories, see how they're all struggling in life, just looking for some sort of boost. And this whole GameStop stock thing, it really helped boost morale, helped get these people the money that they needed for the most part. And it was really great. It was really, really great to see. Um, and again, just a really inspiring, motivational story. Like I left the theater extremely pumped up and just like in a really good mood. And I did also enjoy the fact that they used real footage, because there was like a court case going on at the end of the film. It was all over Zoom, and like the actual interviewers and like the judges and stuff like that was footage from the actual real life court case mixed in with the actors for this film. So I thought that was really cool. Um, you know, again, it's just a great story, you know, seeing just like the average normal people working a sucky retail job, or, you know, America Ferrera's character being a nurse. Um, you know, essential workers. That was one of my favorite jokes in the movie. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but, you know, just a really funny joke is when Pete Davidson was like, "Yeah, I work for DoorDash. I'm an essential worker, man." That was hilarious. But getting to see those types of people kind of like rise up and stand up against and hold their own against the rich people who just are, you know, scamming them and like screwing them over left and right. So I just really love seeing that. It was a great story, and the fact that it's all a true story is really cool. Kind of makes me wish that I was into investing, like, at all, but especially back then, and that I invested in GameStop because I could be rich right now, but I'm not. But it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I could definitely see this be nominated for some awards. I don't think it's going to be like a huge contender, but I mean, there's a potential here. You know, there's some really good performances throughout the film, so I'm really excited to see how it does and how it stands against some of these other award season films. So, anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Dumb Money? Did you see the film in theaters? If not, I highly recommend it. It was a great film. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. Easy watch. And I mean, not a lot of people are going to watch this movie, but again, I highly recommend it, so you definitely should. And, you know, because of that, if you do, you might end up sitting in the theater by yourself, which again, pretty cool experience. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.